San Quentin, California's oldest prison, has offered programs for decades. The goal of the programs is to rehabilitate inmates back into society after their release in hopes they don't reoffend.
Well, tonight, To The Point host Alex Bell takes us inside the prison to see if the programs are actually working and giving inmates a second chance.
Inmate Freddie, can you come to the shack?
I feel like San Quentin is like no other place.
San Quentin.
Let's talk about San Quentin.
Scott Peterson is expected to be sentenced to life.
Authorities are searching for an inmate.
Behind the walls, there's another side.
Wow, it's not the old San Quentin.
90% of inmates will one day leave this prison.
This place will give you the opportunity. All you have to do is open that door.
What does rehabilitation look like?
I feel like prison saved my life.
The programs at San Quentin are giving inmates a second chance. But is a second chance enough to keep them from coming back? In Marin County, just 12 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge, sits San Quentin Rehabilitation Center.
They do a pretty good job of landscaping here. They take it very serious.
Gardening isn't the scene you would expect when walking into California's most notorious and oldest prison, first built in 1852. Lieutenant Barry says most people are surprised when they first come inside. She's worked here over 20 years.
We roughly have about 3,300 incarcerated right now, and so the general population walks around with no handcuffs.
San Quentin Rehabilitation Center, formerly known as San Quentin Prison, was also where condemned inmates sat on death row until the summer of 2024, until they were all transferred to other facilities throughout the state.
So over here we have the Adjustment Center. Several decades ago, the death sentence guys who are coming from the county jail would be placed in the Adjustment Center. Right now we use it as a COVID precautionary area. We also use it as a restrictive housing unit. So anyone who may have battery on staff, attempted murder, or any drugs, weapons, or contraband.
For decades, San Quentin has offered programs to inmates to rehabilitate and integrate them back into society. With 42 programs and 170 groups, San Quentin has more programs than any institution in the state of California.
So a lot of the programs that we have here, like computer coding, they have very little to no recidivism.
Currently, 40% of inmates participate in these programs aimed at personal development, education, and vocational training. The walls, wires, and windows are a sign of the past. Kickball, conversations, and common ground are a sign of the future.
To be able to play kickball and high five, it makes it a lot easier for people on the outsides to say, wow, they're people too.
I feel blessed to be out here. It makes the environment and the community here more at peace. Oh, no, drop it! Oh!
Fred Catano has been in prison for more than 50 years.
This is something that I had never witnessed before.
Like watching inmates play guards in a kickball game. After over half a century living in different California prisons, he admits it's embarrassing reflecting on his bad choices, a badge he isn't proud to wear.
I was sentenced for murder back in '71. I actually knew the man that I killed. As we do time in here, we come to realize that we did something wrong. It's not like we love what we did. It was just that we didn't have the tools to learn life's valuable lessons out there. I unleashed a lot of that pain on other people. When I started getting into recovery, then I realized the harm that I was doing to people.
Fred has participated in programs and now teaches others.
I try to give back.
In what ways?
My experiences, my knowledge, my tools that I have, my skills that I've learned and picked up in here. They have so many programs, so many doors open. All one has to do is take that opportunity and open that door for themselves.
What about people that say prison is supposed to be punishment? Prison isn't supposed to be working out and kickball and concerts. What do you say to those people?
Well, even though we have those things, we still have a fence there, so it's still prison.
Fred will go before the parole board this November, hoping to be released. He isn't the only one who may be on the other side of the fence.
Statistic-wise, a lot of these guys, 90% of these dudes are coming home. They're getting out.
What do you say to people that they say prison is supposed to be punishment?
Well, I mean, I would never try and change anyone's views. We don't want to disregard the victims or anything like that. But at the same time, I want to believe that redemption is real and that, you know, when people come to prison, people who are really putting in the work to change, you know, people who are participating in self-help groups to find out why they committed the crimes that they committed. If you know that they're getting out, I certainly would want them to have the tools that they need so that they understand that victimization is not okay.
Do you feel ready to go home? You're going to get out in what, possibly 3 months, you said?
Yeah, I could have been out like 35 years ago. And I'm glad that I didn't go because I was not ready for society.
People go.
They want to come by?
Sometimes give it free, so dependent.
Here.
We met Templeton by the basketball courts.
He's a 10-month-old black lab.
And Lloyd Townsend.
I'm incarcerated for first-degree murder. I've been in prison for 17 years. I fell in love with dog training because I looked at it like it was a way for me to give back. High five. Yes. Good boy. I also feel like I had a lot in common with dogs because not only was I training them, I was also rehabilitating them while I worked on my own rehabilitation.
Without a program like this,
I'll feel lonely and a little less productive because training Templeton, it makes me feel as if I'm doing something productive on a daily basis. I feel like prison saved my life. It's crazy, but I really feel like being removed from society and being able to come here and rehabilitate myself saved me.
For some, the comfort of petting a dog can mean everything.
We get guys on a daily basis that been in prison 30 to 40 years that break down by just getting a chance to pet a dog. So it's been very humanizing to have these dogs here at San Quentin. Good boy. Good boy.
2 out? Stop it. I'm Officer Williams. I've been here for 6 years. I've never been to another prison, but I feel like San Quentin is like no other place.
Good kid, good kid.
It's the only prison I've worked at a little over 17 and a half years.
When Officer Williams and Officer Fagerzadeh started their careers at San Quentin, they say the atmosphere was different.
Every day there was fights, people stabbing each other. It was a mess.
He says those days are over now. Have the programs been successful in your opinion?
People that come in and talk to the inmates about going into the unions in their fields when they get out, so they already have connections.
The correctional officers we spoke to during our visit told us that change can be challenging, and getting staff to buy into new rehabilitation efforts isn't something that happens overnight.
We'll see them more than we see our family. Some of us do 16-hour shifts, so I feel like, yeah, they might be a little upset and think that it's supposed to be, oh, you know, get on them, but it's still a thin line.
Under Chance Andy's leadership, the warden of San Quentin, there is a simple focus.
We can still have a security mindset, but still treat people like people, which actually reduces the violence inside our institutions and protects our staff. And again, true public safety prevents people getting out and continuing to do crime. Let's go! We have a programming population that wants to do the right thing, that's truly trying to rehabilitate. When people have degrees and skill sets to get back out, they have somewhere to get jobs and to be a contributing member of society. Good job, y'all!
The kickball game isn't about winning or losing.
Learning teamwork, sportsmanship. During these events, we don't have incidents, we don't have anything violent going on, and as you can tell by the environment in the background, it's a pretty good vibe.
Hanuk Rufael sees the way programs challenge people.
If we categorize and box people in, then we'll only grow as big as those boxes. I was sentenced to 28 years for sexual assault. I didn't think I was capable of harming someone in that way. It's shameful.
Throughout his sentence, he's joined various groups, become certified for drug and alcohol counseling, and learned how to play the violin. San Quentin's programs, seen as the keys to freedom, have a lot on the line to reduce recidivism and rehabilitate.
I'm not nervous or scared about reoffending because I have an understanding of myself. I have an amazing support system.
Anouk will be going in front of the parole board this November with the hope he never comes back.
That we're all capable of change. People commit harms from all walks of life, and I believe everybody has a redemption story.
The latest data report from the California Department of Corrections shows recidivism rates, meaning when someone reoffends, decrease through the years in California. It also found inmates in rehabilitative programs have lower recidivism rates compared to those who didn't.
And keep in mind, the parole board considers several factors to decide if inmates should be released: their mental state, their attitude about the crime, and criminal history. Victims and their families are also allowed to make statements in the process.
We'll turn